Hello again, I'm Ron Amodio from Care National Healthcare with another vlog, here to talk about how time kills hiring deals. In my time as a recruiter and an account manager, and now as a regional vice president at Care National, I have coordinated hundreds of placements playing matchmaker to align the right candidate with the right position at the right company. It is a lot of long hours and hard work, but there is no better feeling in the world than chaperoning that connection and improving the situation of both candidates and companies. In the past, I've had a follow-up conversation with the client on a couple of candidates' submittals. My human resource contact said they forwarded the resumes to the hiring manager immediately after they received them because both candidates were very strong. The HR contact said they'd let me know as soon as they got feedback from the hiring manager. 2 days passed and no feedback, so I called, left a voicemail, and sent an email to my contact. Well, another 2 days passed. Unfortunately, that's very frustrating, and as anyone can imagine, scenarios like this happen all too often in the recruitment industry. I completely understand that people get busy, and many individuals do try to balance work and life. However, what hiring managers and HR representatives surprisingly often don't realize is that every day that passes with a position unfilled can cost their company hundreds or thousands of dollars. What's even worse is when resumes of qualified medical management nurses just sit on hiring managers' desks for days, sometimes for weeks. On the other hand, I had a third-party administration client who had a case management nurse position open that had been open for several months. I found the perfect candidate, spent time reviewing the position and organization with the candidate, and they were excited to be presented. By the way, I crafted a strong submittal packet and sent it to my contact. As we do with all of our candidates, we ask if they are actively searching and if they have any other opportunities in the works. As it happened, she had several interviews lined up, so like I always do, I informed my contact about this. After a day went by with no response, I reminded my contact that this candidate had several interviews lined up over the next 10 days. And with her being a highly qualified case manager, I knew one or more of those interviews would result in an offer. The message was received loud and clear by my contact. They discussed the candidate with the hiring manager and expressed the sense of urgency. 2 days later, they stayed late, interviewed the candidate. It was a match made in heaven, and the director of medical management was so impressed, she made an offer on the spot. The candidate accepted the very next day. The problem isn't that I personally want to close deals as soon as possible. It's that we had a great candidate that if we didn't move quickly, they would no longer be available because a competitor would just hire them in probably 48 hours. We knew that the hiring manager, like most professionals in leadership positions, have their days filled with meetings and projects, daily job duties, and sometimes even personal issues. But the longer it takes the hiring manager to review resumes and set up interviews, the longer the hiring cycle takes, and the greater the possibility of losing out on a very strong candidate. In my experience, the most successful organizations and leaders make a point to get the best talent on their team. They will review a few resumes first thing in the morning, at the end of their day, and even bring some home with them to review. They know that if they don't do that, a perfect candidate might be sitting right there on their desk. Just a friendly reminder, time kills deals. Don't let that happen to you.